Hello, and welcome back to Rolex Play, where we roll dice and we play games. You've joined us for our midweek campaign titled Threads of Chaos. This is our 5th episode, so you haven't missed too much going up to this point. There are only a few episodes to catch up on, so don't forget to do that. But anyway, you're here now, so we'll just dive into today's session. We have a full house straight away, so everyone's here, present. We'd love to see that. So we'll just dive straight into it. So, the party have been travelling through a very dangerous landscape known as the Howling Mountains. As they have traversed deeper and deeper to find their way on the opposite side of it, they have found a thread inside of this mountain and they have decided to pursue it, finding themselves deeper inside and slightly lost, not really on the main path, taking a side route. But upon following it, they had come across a disheveled and broken temple to one of the main gods of this pantheon, known as Moradin, the creator, one of the founding fathers of this world. Upon looking into this destroyed temple, the party had come across quite a few strange relics and items that they had procured and put in their bags and knapsacks. They've also came across several strange creatures as well. One of them was a howler, injured and damaged, not really seeing much fight. But others were these hunger-infested gnolls who had tried to pillage as much as they can from the temple, and as soon as they saw the party, fights began to ensue. The party, clearly stronger than these gnolls, these very decrepit, hungry-ridden gnolls, they were able to dispatch them with ease, and through getting deeper and deeper into the temple, they had uncovered more and more gnolls and took them out one after one after one. Their final place of combat was in front of a vault, which has now since been closed. Items hanging around all corners, relics left behind in the temple's wake, and upon destroying the last of the gnolls, they had found, or heard rather, a large appearance coming from the tunnel they had come from. A large-haired giant of sorts. Upon thinking that this may be a troll previously encountered earlier this day, the party had figured out that this was actually a hill giant seemingly a part of this temple. The only thing they can say, unfortunately, is a word in Dwarvish, which translates to master. Now, the party trying to uncover what the past of this hill giant is, and also where they wish to go next on their journey, as they have almost finished their time here in the temple. But this is where we kind of pick up now. So you guys are currently in front of this large vault, which has now been closed by the hill giant. He's just closed it, this large metal door, locked into place. You heard all of the interlocking mechanisms just seal it completely, no longer accessible via the exterior at least. The giant himself is currently sat on the floor and allowing you guys just to walk by freely. You had inquired and pondered on the belt that he carries around his waist, the belt of dwarven kind, one which seems to be imbued with a curse that keeps him in this hollow state where he cannot seem to produce words or thoughts outside of one singular word. I believe it was Ulrin who had delved into the items, trying to break this curse. And upon doing so, you had seen this very malevolent figure, accented and silhouetted by a green flame, as she hovered basically towards a point of view shot of this giant. Probably one of the last things he saw during this attack on the temple, and the person who you assume to embedded the curse into the belt. You now fall out of that stupor, no longer seeing this reflection of the past, and you just see the hill giant there looking towards you with these soft, kind eyes, unable to really translate or say anything to you. Is there anything you wish to do, Ulrin? You are muted, mate.
I was muted twice. Like, I have this thing on my headphones that I can mute myself with. I muted myself over Discord to not interrupt your
You
extended.
played yourself twice.
Yes. Fuck me. Anyway.
Good job.
I stumbled backwards with a shocked expression upon the things I just saw. I saw a vision of some kind, a woman, a sorceress. Written. She hurled around green flames. I think she was the one who cursed this. Who cursed him.
Did I heard about her? Or do I know anything about her?
You
Or
can
the
roll
person?
a religion or history check if you want.
Yes, I do.
Do
Helen
you know
also
what you look like?
Yeah. Whoever wants to try and roll a history or religion check can do.
Did she anything about her? Or was it just a lady?
The visions were hazy. He wasn't in the best state of mind. It seems I saw it from his point of view.
Mm.
All I saw was a woman hurling around green flames.
In terms of recollection and stories, for the most part, all of you have heard the name of Vernal Decker, an individual who had a large presence about 20 years ago and had forced a movement of essentially hate towards the gods. She had one goal, one large vendetta, which was to destroy the Pantheon. But she failed. She failed in her quest, in her mission, and her whereabouts is unknown. The reason a lot of you know of her name, or at least have heard it, or in passing, is during her movement to destroy the gods. One of her acts to inform the people of this wrongdoing, of her ideals, was to send a message to every major city and town throughout the world and the plains. Axon, even you have seen an illusory image of her in your city. Her voice carried, and a singular message was repeated and repeated and repeated. The illusion was something that was hard to destroy. Powerful magic just kept it there permanently. And when she had been defeated, the illusion disappeared, and everyone was informed of her defeat. But that hasn't stopped people from still having some ideals, or at least voicing their opinions in favor of what she preached. For Cal, you've heard all of this as well, and I'd say you would know a bit more about the Awoken in general, her group, the group that she stood for. There was another moment in time where this happened as well. Towards the beginning of this current era, about 1,000 years ago, a group was seen called the Awoken, trying to establish this same rule, this same vendetta, to destroy divinity, or at least its depiction. This was led thousands of years ago by an individual called Andrix the Cruel, but he was also defeated. And it seems that these two individuals, Andrix as well as Vernal Decker, had some sort of relation, be it by blood, relative. It's unsure what specifically, but their bloodline seems to have a hatred towards these gods, at least.
I think we talked about her in religion class. I think she really didn't like gods. It sounds at least like her, with the whole green evil throwy flamey thingy. So if she did this, that's kind of bad news because she was supposed to have been really powerful. So I don't think we can help him.
There must be something we could attempt. Anything.
We could try and break it. Like, hit it really hard.
Might be worth an attempt.
Well, you know how magic stuff
Okay,
is.
which one of us has
Well,
heavy?
it could backfire.
I mean, how are you?
So that's
How you want to like hit the belt without hitting the guy, and without taking off the belt?
We don't have to just strike the belt. We could also just take a knife and cut it.
I don't think it would be that easy to remove it, but
I doubt it as well, but
you can certainly try.
Can I look at the belt more closely and try and see if there's any sort of weak points where it's not connected by metal, but rather where it's been knitted, where it's been worked close? Any sort of weak point?
You can roll a survival or investigation check to see if you can pinpoint any markings and such. 17. You can
17.
see the belt itself is mostly leather all around, with some iron claspings around kind of every one foot. Large belt around his waist. You can see where the leather straps are. There is an area where there is several bits of scratches as well as a deep cut, but also you see that area seems to have almost flesh wounds as well, where you assume that he has tried to attempt to take it off himself. So there is some damage there. But as all of you know, magical items, although potent, strong, and somewhat unbreakable, there are enchantments that can be broken by strength alone. So there is possible solution to destroying this by just brute strength or hitting it hard enough. But it may need several attempts, or it may need just one strong hit. But you kind of find the weak point, at least.
Perfect. I'm gonna point it where the Yeti is already, like the giant has already started to scratch at it. We could try and like jam a knife in there, and then someone hits on top of the knife, maybe with the combination of a very small spot getting all of that force and someone hitting it really hard. That might do something.
Well, at least I have some experience precisely hitting stuff. So, does anyone have a knife?
Exactly. Well, Cal is a short sword, not a knife, but
Yeah, Helen would kind of pull out. She's got like a rapier. Not technically a knife.
that might
but
break.
yeah, that too. I'd rather not.
I think a rapier might be a bit too flimsy. Anything
Yeah.
else?
I mean, I've got a sickle, but I don't want to use it.
Perhaps the gnolls
Oh,
have some
I have a short.
stuff lying around.
Looking around, you can find they have some crooked-looking, like bone daggers, as well as some like whittled down bits of bark and stone that they've used in different weapons. So you can try and use one of them to try and lever it if you wanted to, but they are quite crudely made. It's not like a craftsman's touch.
I'm really not attached to this short sword. We could, like, if you hit that the wrong way, then that's it. I this was a gift to me. Like, I didn't pay any money for this, so if you want to try and hit this, that's fine.
I mean, aren't
Sure,
they
that's true.
like kind of hurt from both sides, like short swords? Like, are they broadsword
yeah.
or just like?
It's a short sword. DM, can this go? What is it? What do you mean? What is the question? I'm confused.
What is your blade a two-sided blade or a one-sided blade?
Yeah. That's the question.
I imagine
Well,
their short
it's
sword would be
probably
one.
two-sided.
I imagine a short
Would
sword
it?
be one-sided. I don't know why.
Okay. I mean,
You know
if
what?
the
Fuck it.
DM
Just
says
roll
so,
a d4. Roll a d4. That'll figure out how many
I'm
sides
gonna
it
roll a
has.
d4.
I'm on a roll a 4.
It has 4 sides.
It's it's fucking cube shaped. What can I say?
Oh, does that mean it has like a pyramid at the top, like where they
Yes.
all run together? That would be perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that means it's at a very small spot
Right.
at
but
the end of it. So
yeah,
this
it
is
would be useless.
perfect.
It would be useless in the
No,
fight.
no, it's perfect. I put the little dot. Yes, we ignore fighting right now. I put the little dot where the hill giant has already started to scratch at it, and then I could gesture to it like, there, hit it. On top of the grip.
I'm eyeing the questionable shape of the weapon. I still steady my hammer, ready to strike. What do I roll?
Okay, if you're going to try and hit it, I'm going to need you to roll. This will be an attack roll. So using your strength plus proficiency. DC is going to be high.
Yeah, I feel like the chances of you hitting me is very, very much higher than you actually hitting the sword.
If it's a nat 20.
Oh, come on, come on, come on.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was so close.
That was very close. You place this very, for all intents and purposes, it seems like one of these knockoff swords. Being four-sided doesn't really help in any sort of practical way. It doesn't flow correctly, but Cal has been using it to the best of their ability, and it's worked so far. With this, using it as almost like a pivot area, you grab your Warhammer Orin and you kind of place it in front. And as you're hovering it there, ready to kind of strike, you take a moment to look up at the hill giant, and you can see he's just looking at you and giving a solid nod, ready for whatever's to come. And you pull out the Warhammer, you hit down hard. Cal, can I ask you to roll a d20 for me?
Yes, of course. Oh no!
Orin, you hit down hard, and you hit at a point that the short sword isn't reinforced in, and the short sword Cal just snaps as it just gets hit with a heavy strike. As your short sword snaps, the blade just crumbles, and you have just basically a dagger at this point, a very crude, broken dagger. But Orin, you turn back to see the cut is deeper in the actual belt. It has gone down maybe about 2 more inches. It still needs some more hits in it, but you've made some progress in trying to destroy it. I will need you to roll a wisdom saving throw, though.
Okay.
$26.
I feel very safe.
You hit down once, and this binding curse that's affecting this item, you feel almost this cold sensation wash over you. It goes down your spine, and rather than the hairs standing up on your back as they would do with a cold, they instead just go down, and they almost pull themselves down into you. And you feel this shudder across your back, and you're seeing that illustration, that outline of that woman once again hovering there. But this time you see on her arm a glowing tattoo of the Moradin symbol just there, and you see it shine brightly in your direction. You are going to take some damage, unfortunately. You take 4 points of psychic damage.
Oh boy, I'm down to 2 HP.
Oh boy.
So your head is just rocked with this energy that just lashes out at you as you attempt to try and unbind this weapon, this armor rather.
We are making progress, but I won't last like this. I need a rest.
Right. Who wants to hit it next?
I mean, I can try with the rapier, but again, it's a bit. Just kind of like swishes it around a bit. I don't
Well,
want to.
you could try cutting. Like, is that supposed to stab people or is it supposed to slash people?
With the rapier cutting. I want to see it.
Wow.
Well, like seeing that we are not going anywhere and like almost no progress. Can I try and use this same trick which I used with the gnolls and try to hit it 3 times? I mean, it's like up to 3 creatures, but can I a bit bend the rules and
Oh, is this the
Yeah, the spell, 2nd level spell.
Yeah, if you want to try and focus it on this
Yeah.
space, you can
Yeah.
certainly try it. Yeah.
On that cut, which is deepened now. So, no measurement.
By the way, I take this time to apply the healing salve I still have in my inventory, so I heal 1 HP per minute.
Okay.
So basically I come closer where Oren just hit, and where like I think the rest of that blade is, and like touch it with my hand, close the eyes, and just try to hit it. And again the wind starts a bit howling around me, and the sickle starts a bit like have a bit of outline also with like windy outline, and I try to hit it 3 times as if I can, or at least once. It's a melee attack. Okay. Just a second. So that is the 1, the 2, and the 3.
Oh.
Okay.
Right next.
You kind of like in a burst of a gale, you disappear for a second as you just kind of like flourish forward with these 3 attacks. 2 of them hit against the belt, and you feel it just kind of like lash out at your mind. I'm gonna need you to roll 2 wisdom saving throws for me.
All right.
You wanted to see Decker. There you go.
Wisdom saves. So it's 17 and 11.
Okay. You slash out twice, and at this point you see the same silhouette that was described to you by Ulrin. You see this silhouette of a woman just floating there in space, green flame silhouetting her hands as well as the rest of her body. You do not see features per se. All you see on her is a rune which glows on her neck. A rune which you can roll a Arcana check.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in what rune it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, at least I will recognize it. 21.
You see a rune which is emblazoned onto the body, which I'll send you in a second.
Okay.
But first, the first 2 lashes of psychic energy do lash out at you. That's going to be 17 points of psychic damage total.
Okay. Yeah, then it's 1 instance or it's 2 instances. So if it's 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah, then after the first one, I'm just go unconscious.
Okay, you strike out. Because the attack happens simultaneously, because it is within that kind of period of time, you do land the 3rd strike as your sickle embeds itself and digs deep into the belt. You find just this wave of energy knock you back, and the rest of you see Axon just fall prone onto the ground.
Maybe
Right,
you shouldn't
maybe-
keep doing
Excellent.
it. seems to be going on.
Yeah.
Like, looking at the thing, does like the gash has gotten deeper at all in the belt after that hit, or no?
Yeah, it seems to have gone further in, and now the belt is hanging by about 2 inches left.
Yeah. So if we like spend like 10 minutes very carefully just whittling away at it, would it break?
You could definitely try, but first I'd like Axon to roll a death saving throw.
I'm gonna put a healing shit in him.
You want to be.
Yeah.
On a side note, I still have my spiritual weapon hanging around, right?
It only lasted a minute, so it's gone by now.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll do a healing light on him.
Sure.
So no dying, please. So heal 5.
Okay, so you heal 5 HP. What does the healing light look like, Marie? Does it just shoot out of your hand like an Eldritch Blast, or?
No, I like Mushu is with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he goes over and you know, like cast it through him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he flies over, and he's like trying to help him get up with his head.
He's just kind of like nudging him every so often.
Yeah.
He sneezes, and this powder just kind of echoes
Yeah,
off
yeah,
of
it's the magic stuff, you know, the good
Yeah.
stuff out of the nose, if you know what I'm saying.
Good juju.
Yeah.
Axon, you breathe that juju in, juju from Mushu, and you feel this re-energize, and you kind of shake off the effects of the psychic attack that has just afflicted you.
I will just like first things first. I will just sneeze and try to move a bit away from this like little pseudo dragon. You know, I have like a bit like allergy on the dragons, so please keep it away.
Wait, you have an allergy to. No, not important, not important.
I mean, I have allergy for like the scales and that stuff which comes out of the dragons, be it fire or some, you know.
Oh yeah, that's not pleasant.
Something else.
First things first, are you alright, Axon?
I mean,
It
barely.
looked, intense.
Yeah, it looked
Barely
really
alive.
painful.
I mean, yeah, I saw her in one room, but after that it just went dark.
Well,
Yeah, I think you died. No, like not died. You went unconscious, and then
Yeah, I
the dragon
believe
sneezed on you.
it is correct description. Yeah, that's probably what happened.
I suppose I'll take the next strike. Just give me some time,
Well,
and I hold up
should
the empty thingy, the empty container of the salve. This is supposed to patch me right back up.
During this time, you do heal 10 hit points, Oren.
Helen's just gonna like step back and kind of sit down on the stoop of one of the statues and just kind of watch what's happening. Just go, yeah, I'm not gonna have to go because I'm already bleeding a little too much. So you guys have fun with that. And is just gonna sit down and kind of start wiping off her like wounds and prestidigitationing some of the blood and stuff off her clothes.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, Cal has just grabbed an arrow and is just carefully and slowly whittling away at the last bit of the bell.
You're gonna try and keep going for it?
It's just like. Doot, 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 doot.
Okay, I'd like you to roll. This will be an attack roll.
Attack roll. Okay. With what?
With an arrow. So this will just be. This is a strength check technically because you're trying to whittle through.
Oh, lovely. So that is a +2. Okay. Wait, strength check. Normal. 16.
16, okay. You, with this dainty little arrow, try and like saw through to the best of your ability. I'd like you to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
I just want to have an audience with Deca. Is that so difficult? I really don't. I don't want to see her again ever. Okay, 10.
You see the silhouette. This time, you instead see something else around her person. You see the green flame, but rather than silhouetting her body, it is instead her entire form. You just see her completely engulfed in this green flame. She herself does not have a silhouette because she is the fire. And you do take 8 points of psychic damage.
Mhm.
And as you look back to see how much you've whittled through, you used an arrow, so nothing, unfortunately.
I don't have anything else. I could have tried to use a blowgun.
But wasn't there like a lot of like Noel made shit? It wasn't like good, but it can still do something, no?
Yeah, there's like bits of daggers and serrated pieces of bone and wood and stone that they have. You could try and use that for leverage, but it's less of the issue of using the right tools. That does have a part in it, but as well, doing the act is just going to cause you mental stress anyway. So that is something more to bear in mind.
The thing is, I feel like everyone have tried, so I gotta try too, right?
You feel like you have to now.
Yeah.
Hellish blood.
Come on.
We suffer in groups.
Yeah. I just cannot be the
Solidarity.
only one who's not suffering. It's just not cool, man.
Okay, if you want to try and use one of them, you can pick up a dagger and then try and use that to whistle
I
through.
will try to do that, and I
Sure.
will pray to every god that I know. I'm not
This-
religious, and this works.
You can use your strength or your dex because it is a finesse weapon.
Just a straight.
This will be plus your proficiency if you are proficient, which I think you are. Simple weapon.
Am I?
I think so. It's a simple weapon.
Oh yeah, then I am. Okay. See.
Okay. You do the same thing, but as soon as your blade goes 1 inch into the actual the belt itself, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
We suffer in groups.
24. Okay. You see the silhouette of this woman, same depiction as everyone else has seen. For you, however, you do not see anything illuminated. You just see her. There's no fire. There's just her standing there, and you actually see her face. You see her body. You see everything else a part of her. You also see all of the tattoos across her body. She seems to be maybe in her 30s or so, feminine woman with kind of like a human look to her, although it's hard to tell in this space. But yeah, you just see her with like a crooked smile across her face, and you will take 3 points of psychic damage.
Okay, Mushu's turn.
I love
Fight
the idea
into
that
a
Dagger's
top
just
bed.
sitting somewhere, just getting these magical alarms, like spell triggered, spell triggered, spell triggered.
Mushu walks over and starts gnawing on it.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Okay, Mushu can do it. Mushu can do it.
I don't know.
Do you want him to?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Roll a melee attack for your pseudo dragon.
What the fuck do I do
watch
that?
Watch it be in that 20. Watch it be a
Just in
fucking...
case, do we have any spare dragons?
No, but find familiar.
Mushu the second is
better.
coming soon.
Yeah, Mushu the second is just gonna. Can I just roll a
Mushu.
d20 and just because I don't have the stat shit?
Yeah, that's fine.
14.
14 plus that should be enough to kind of make a dent. I'll also need him to roll a wisdom saving throw though, so another d20, and we'll see what his wisdom save is. I don't think
Honestly,
it's
Oh,
very
wait.
high.
a dent is better than what I did.
No, that's Mushu is doing better than both of us.
Yeah.
What is the plus one.
I'm just checking it now.
Yeah.
Might be +3 or something.
Well, it has advantage against saving throws from spells and other magical effects.
Okay,
I
so yeah,
roll
you
it
can
with
roll again.
advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Let's take it. 19.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
nice.
So that'll be a 20 because he only has a +1.
Oh, it's fine.
He also only has a maximum of 7 hit points.
Good.
He
Wait,
does
but
take
it's-
damage.
It's 30-20, so it's summed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that'll be
Technically it's a 6.
So
That'll be a
it's
6. So it'll be an 11. So that's 12. Okay, let's pray that it's a low roll. So can you just roll 2d4 plus 2 for me to see how much HP he has?
Uh-oh. He's making
Should
your
it-
rolls.
Should we do what? Sorry?
2d4. Just roll 2d4. That'll establish how much health he has. 10. Okay.
Oof.
He takes 7 points of damage. The reason I asked you to
Nice.
roll that because that is the average hit point for
Yes.
a pseudo dragon. So
He lives.
he lives with 3 HP. He takes
And
the
a
hit.
dream.
He bites into the belt, and his teeth do get stuck there for a second. He's like, it's just kind of like shaking his head as he's suffering this psychic damage, and then he's just kind of like flung from there. You see, he's kind of like dizzy, tongue's lolled out to the side a little bit, but there is only a tiny bit left, a tiny thread left on this belt that remains. Seeing all of you kind of take this effort for him, the giant is going to reach down with both hands and try and pull it off at the final part. So I'm going to roll for everyone to see. Okay. That plus his strength. That will be enough, actually. And he will need to make a wisdom saving throw anyway. The wisdom save, nat 20. So, yeah. So he's fine on the wisdom. He will take some damage. Okay. But more importantly, as all of you have put in the hard work, you see he kind of like looks around at all of you, kind of like reaching up to your heads, taking the hits for him. He reaches down and he begins to strain and pull apart this last thread. As he does, you can see that this, like a thread from a cloth, that just barely holds onto this belt at this point. As he pulls it, the magic that you can see that ties the rest of this belt together just begins to glow this sickly green. All of the lights in this space, which glow a dull purple essence, you see they are almost snuffed out completely by this green accent that just washes over everyone. All of you feel this kind of cold sensation as the green overtakes the room, and it is like this green neon light that just shines from this single thread. He kind of like squints his eyes as he continues to pull and pull and pull. Then eventually you hear just something snap, and the energy just disperses into the air. You all watch as flooding from the belt, this green energy, like smoke, black and almost acidic to the smell, just begins to flood up from the belt. Like gouts of flame just reaching up to the ceiling. You see they continue to burn as far up as they can. And you begin to watch at this point as the ceiling and the room, which has been magically preserved over many, many years with some sort of enchantment, you see this smoke seems to burn through that. And the ceiling above, you see it begin to almost break and this hole emerge upwards, as if the smoke is clawing and pulling bits of the rock away. I would like 3 d20s to be rolled, and I'm going to ask them from, we'll say, Arne, we'll say Marie, and Ilya. If the three of you could roll d20s for me, this will establish the integrity of this space.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Oh no!
Those are not high numbers.
No. So, you all begin to see as these plumes of fire begin to burn into the ceiling above, albeit stone. You see the crenellations begin to crack in areas, and you begin to watch as parts of the stonework above begin to fall down. areas of this temple are beginning to break away and fall apart. You see one of the bits of stone land on top of this stone face of a giant woman right next to you, Helen, as you have to kind of like dodge out of the way as you see it crash down. You all get the idea now that this place is beginning to cave in on itself. You see the giant there in a stupor just still sits there looking at this broken belt in their hands as this room is all falling apart. What is everyone doing in this moment now?
Helen will kind of get up and kind of try and grab the guy like by the hand and kind of pull him up to his feet.
Okay, you rush over to the giant and I'm going to need you to roll either a persuasion, intimidation, or strength check to see. This is you trying to like either lift him up or try and get him going.
Can I support her by just shoving the guy from the back and be like, okay, come on, get up.
Sure, you can do the same if you want. Cal, if you want to also roll either persuasion, intimidation, or a strength check. Sounds more like persuasion or strength to me.
Ooh,
okay,
nice.
So the two of you begin to rush up to the giant as he's there, just kind of looking down at the belt. He looks around and he just says, "Okay, we'll get out of here as soon as we can." As he begins to kind of like stand up now, realizing what's going on, you see him begin to kind of like act in this moment, and he actually picks the two of you up. And he's going to carry you as he begins to walk towards the tunnel. "Come on, this place is falling apart!" And he's just beginning to run. What are the rest of you guys doing?
I'm picking up Mushu and I'm running.
Okay.
Following him, and on the road, I just like look at Olren and say, "I don't think the rope will hold him, but we have to see."
Up till that point, I was sitting somewhere, maybe leaning against one of the statues, exhausted. Pull myself up immediately. Yeah. Okay, let's run.
While she would...
Also, Tuko! Come!
He begins to... You see Tuko, the small green, lime green toad man that had kind of like come in here to try and help you guys, inform you that the giant was coming. You see he's kind of like behind, looking at one of these statues as a big rock falls in front of him. And he begins to leap away and join the rest of you, boing, boing, just jumping as far as he can.
In case he's slower than me, I try to pick him up on the way.
You seem to be much slower than him. His
Yeah,
long jumps seem to leap. You kind of like reach back and go, Tuko, and he just jumps over you, boing, boing, and just continues to bound and leap ahead.
Rich people.
So he just goes in this fast manner. So all of you are beginning to run. For this, I would like all of you to either roll, except for Helen and Cal, because you guys are being carried. I'd like everyone to roll an athletics or acrobatics check as you guys are just pelting as fast as you can out of this temple. Oren, as you are kind of the slowest in this group, I'd like you just to roll a history check as well.
History check as well as what?
An acrobatics or athletics check.
Okay.
A history check can be done at advantage. Every time. Why is this stereotype that Ulrin has already? Like, he's the cleric, he's the clumsy. For fuck's sake.
Come on!
Wait, this is advantage. This is bullshit.
You roll 3, not 1.
I rolled 3-1.
Dude, and then fucking Axon rolls a nat 20 before you. What the fuck? That's some bad luck, my guy. That's like, what the fuck have you done this week? Why do you deserve this? I'm not even talking about Aura anymore. Arne, what the fuck have you done, dude? What have you done?
I don't know. It must have been that orphanage I burnt down. I don't know.
Jesus
Stepped
Christ.
under a ladder.
Holy shit.
You broke some glass. Fucking hell. Right.
Oh.
Well, all of you begin to sprint ahead as fast as you can. Oren, you're more caught up in looking back and seeing all of these statues, all of these bits of history that are being left behind and thrown away. You see the statue of this kind of like ice woman, as well as this large statue of a head. You see this serpentine statue and this other statue of like a salamander looking sort of mount with a man on top with a stone mask. It's all very intriguing, and all of this history is here. You take a moment to kind of like, oh, what a shame. You begin to run and you trip at the first hurdle, and you kind of like land on your face. Oh, you have to pick yourself up and then begin to kind of stumble forward. As you are kind of like stumbling here and there, as the walls and the ceiling are caving in around you, you do begin to see your party members getting further and further away. Rather than 10, 15, 20, they just become more and more distant as you are just kind of like trailing behind. But you're still there. You're still kind of rocking and rolling as fast as you can. So the first ones to make it is Axon, surprisingly. So Axon, you kind of like seeing all this happen straight away, you're just like, oh, fuck this. And you begin to run as quick as you can. You go up this ramp, you pass the dead Yetis strung up and being kind of left there to dry. You get past the tunnel and eventually find yourself at the bridge. You see the bridge as it was before, these kind of pillars of stone with just a hollow center at the bottom of them, gaps between just leading down to a pit of death. You see some of these pillars now have kind of broken off and fallen into the ground. There are only a handful left. And you do see a couple of these bridges are still intact, but some of them are wobbling and seemingly moving by the friction and movement within this temple. This cataclysmic event that is now beginning to surge its way to the exterior of the temple is following you guys as you go out. But Axon, you're kind of there first to act. You see the rope is still there, it's still taut. You can see the rest of the pillars there. How are you going to go across?
Well, yeah, actually, I will wait till the Yeti or the hill giant actually will arrive, and will ask him to throw us maybe across.
Okay.
But gently.
Oh, we're actually gonna get to throw the dwarf. Let's go.
He's not that far away as you kind of like turn around and begin to think of this plan. You do see him kind of like stumble through. Some of the walls are beginning to cave in for his larger frame, and he's having to push through them, holding both Helen and Cal in front of him tight so they don't take any damage or scrape against the walls. And then eventually he kind of like has to let the two of you go to kind of squeeze out of this space. Otherwise he'll get both himself and you hurt. So he throws the two of you out next to Axon. Macelia, you arrive as well at this point. As Axon, you turn around to the hill giant and you begin to ask him to throw you across. You see him just kind of, I don't know if that's going to be a good idea. I could throw you, but I can just take you across if you want to.
Can you take out everyone like across?
Not everyone, no. I can take two at a time. Who's going first?
I'll wait for Lauren. You guys go.
Yep, I'm very dexterous. I can wait as well. Maybe you guys go first. I'm alright.
Right, yes, grab those two.
All right, and
No,
he
point in
reaches
receiving
down. He begins to go towards you, Macelia. Do you just accept him picking you up?
Yeah.
Okay, he just picks you up with this kind of like great speed. You go like, whoa, pulled around and ragdolled a little bit. He grabs you as well, Axon, in this kind of quick movement, and he begins to bound onto these platforms as he jumps from one to the other. There is still a big gap between. He can't like jump the entire distance, but his jumping length is larger than what you guys can cover. For him, it's like stepping across a crack rather than you guys, where you have to jump across a ditch. So he's going to make an athletics check, but it's going to be at a reduced.
Can I try and guide him? You know, take
Sure.
the rosary, and when I hold.
Because you are being kind of like thrown around in his hand, I'd like you to roll a Constitution save to see if you can maintain a concentration during this. DC's 10.
Yeah. Just give me a second. Constitution. It's safe or check? I always forget.
It's a check, I believe. Oh no, it is save. It's a save. Okay.
Just give me then another second, as I need to. Yay.
Okay, unfortunately, the guidance doesn't
Yeah.
go through. You kind of like hold on to, but the rosary just is clacking against your chest and hitting against him, and it's just not getting the right ritual in. And he just kind of like bounds across. You see as he takes one large step, the second large step, one of the pillars begins to give way under his feet, and he has to kind of like throw the two of you forward as he grabs onto the lip of the other side. I would need the two of you just to roll acrobatics checks to see if you land safely on the other side, rather than falling prone or hurt yourselves. Because he is just kind of like in a moment trying to throw you forward. Because he did unfortunately fail. 7. So Axon, you're going to take a bit of damage from this as you just kind of like scrape against the ground, thrown a little harder than you should be. That's 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you just kind of like scrape against the floor. Basically,
Alright.
you land and tuck and roll on the other side, and you're fine. But you see, he kind of like grabs on, and he begins to pull himself up. Now on the other side. Whilst this is happening, Helen, you are going to try and jump across as well?
Yeah, she's just gonna try and, like, obviously go across the bridges where she can, and then just kind of carry the momentum and hop over where the gaps are.
Okay, so this will be an acrobatics or athletics check.
Okay.
18. The DC was 16, so you do succeed. So you kind of make it across the way. As you do, I'd just like you to roll a D20 for me to see how bad the state is as you leave it behind.
Don't you dare roll a 1.
Okay. As you jump,
had to say it.
you just had to say
I'm
it.
sorry.
You jump from these last few pillars that remain, and now the first one you kind of land on, it already begins to break away, and you have to jump to the second one. The second one's more sturdy. You find a moment, you see there's a bridge that interconnects to the third, and you go across it, and then you jump over the last bit. Now, for the others who are on the other side, you guys have a 30-foot gap in the ground where the pillars have completely given way. Cal, you see Ulrin now arrive with you. The rope is still there, attached, but the two of you are here, and there is a large 30-foot gap between the next pillar as well as safety to the other side. There's nothing really to grab onto, but yeah.
Wait, what about the rope we attached? Is that?
That's still there, yeah, that's still there.
Okay, so we could try and...
You could if you wanted to, yeah.
Yeah, look at Owen. Do you think you can do that?
I will try. You go first. I won't drag you down.
Okay, but you do realize that if I make it worse, you will have to go after me, right? Like, I think... I don't want to... I think I'm a bit more dexterous than you. Just a teensy tiny bit more. And less heavy.
Neither of us can jump, what's that, 30 feet?
Well, no, but I think I stand a higher chance. Just go first, god damn it.
Alright. Don't make me regret this. We see each other on the other side.
Yes, we will.
Of this chasm.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay, yeah, sure. Of this chasm.
And, yeah, I try to climb across the rope. That's an athletics check?
Yes, this will be an athletics check.
For fuck's sake, that's not good.
If I get a fourth one in a row, I'm going to murder. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So you begin to try and shimmy your way across. It's heavy because you have a lot of items on you. You've packed yourself quite heavy as you've gathered a lot of things, a lot of keepsakes in this place. The rope is quite tense and it is shaking underneath your weight as you are pulling yourself across. As you see Tuco arrive and then jump straight over 30 feet gap and land on the other pillar. And he's kind of like waiting there, watching you just in case if something happens. And you continue to pull yourself across. You've made it about the halfway point. You have reached that first pillar if you want to jump off there, or you can continue to try and pull yourself across.
I have no trust in no architecture. I take the rope.
Okay, you keep going on the rope. I need you to roll another athletics check to see how well you fare. 10. Okay. You continue to pull yourself across, and you get to the very end. And at this point, you hear it just snap, and you find yourself landing just at the lip of the wall as well, where the hill giant had fallen previously. He grabs you and picks you up before you fall too far down, and he just sets you by the side. You take no damage, but the rope is now broken and severed in two. Cal, you waited for this to happen. You are now left stranded without a rope to go across. That has been severed. There is still that 30-foot gap between you and the first pillar. The tunnel behind you has completely caved in at this point, and the stone is beginning to fall around as well.
Okay. I'm gonna try and probably not a lot have time to act, but I'm gonna try and send an arrow roughly 1 or 2 meters lower than the top of the pillar, so that if I don't quite reach the edge, I have a chance to grab onto the arrow. Just enhancing my chances of not dying here. And then I'm gonna go back as far as I can, and I'm gonna run and jump.
All right. So you get an arrow, shoot it forward. Roll an attack roll with ranged attack.
Come on. Just be good. Be nice to me for once in your life. 26!
26, okay.
I might not die.
You grab 2 arrows and knock them in the same go and shoot them both simultaneously. One lands lower than the other, another one is slightly higher at the halfway point. And you shoot those, you back up as far back as you can to where you can feel the dust just beginning to filter over you from all of the rocks. The rest of you watch as this dust just begins to engulf Cal as he's just there standing ready to jump. And Cal, I'm going to need you to roll a acrobatics or athletics check as you jump across.
God, I was hoping you would say that. Okay. 21.
You jump and you kind of fall for a second. You're in the air for a good 5-4 seconds as you just sloop down. And it's a good thing you did put those arrows in, because you cannot make a 30-foot jump distance without these arrows. You fall and hit against the stone pillar. As Tuco is still standing on it, you hear him just go, you need to go as quick as possible, as you feel the pillar beginning to fall as well from where you had impacted against it. You see he just bounces off and jumps away, but now you have activated almost like a domino beginning to fall forward. You find this time to begin to run up as fast as you can. So I'm going to need you to roll a dexterity saving throw as well. Okay. Cal, all I'm going to say is you beat the odds. And you, in a miraculous quick thinking and movement, you rush up that pillar as it's falling, faster than it does fall, and you jump up and leap to the second pillar, and you find yourself with the rest of your allies. All of you now together, after seeing Cal just jump across that ditch, covered in dust. But the rest of the surroundings are still falling, so you continue to run out as fast as you can. What is the marching order? Who is going first in this run?
Whoever's the
I'm just using the speed and we.
Okay, does that mean Olrin goes first?
Yes.
Apparently.
Okay. That does determine how fast you are able to leave, because he is in front of you with a 25-foot walking speed. Olrin, you begin to kind of lead the charge as everyone's minding and watching out. I would like everyone to roll a survival check as you try and dodge, maneuver, and find your way around all of the bits of broken shale and general surroundings. Axon rolling 2 net 20s on this check. With Axon's help, Helen, you manage to maneuver and get out of the way of these broken pieces of rock that are falling down onto you. You see stone statues. You also see those hidden within the rubble, these frozen figures of people who are kind of taken by the Yetis. as well as other priests and old relics of people that have now fallen out from the rubble as new rubble now comes over them. You continue to run and run as fast as you can. You go up this second ramp, find yourself in that same area you were earlier, where there was that large statue of Moradin, as well as the first attack of the gnolls. You see that balcony has completely given way and broken at this point, and you take a quick left as you continue to run as fast as you can. Now, with Orin leading this, Orin, I'm going to need you to roll a athletics or acrobatics check to see how fast you are able to go. Because you're trying to push yourself in this. Natural 20.
Yes! Fuck yeah.
You find
yeah.
find this strength inside of you to just barrel through. You see bits of pillars of rock and stone just beginning to fall in front of you, and you just kind of like shoulder charge them out of the way, and they just land out, and everyone just begins to follow suit. The path is cleared, and at this point now you find yourself turning the bend to see the statue of Sahanin, where stone walls and ceilings begin to fall onto it, but you see a barrier seems to almost protect the entire silhouette of her. You see the stone hit against it, but then almost disintegrate completely. Just completely fade away into ash. You see more stone begin to fall on top of her, and as well, that just begins to disintegrate instantly. All of you begin to rush out as you are not the statues, and thus you will get hit by stone if it falls on top of you. You run out of the entrance, and you find yourself listening once again to that howling wind, just the constant perpetual sounds of the howling mountains as you exit Moradin's temple, as the final bit of this hallway closes in and crumbles on top of itself. You find yourselves in almost complete pitch black. The surroundings are dark, loud, and ominous. You no longer hear the crashing of stone, which is now overtaken by just the wind, as some of you feel your hair just begin to buffet, your clothes hit against the wind, and the wind almost feels stronger than it was earlier. It seems that nightfall has almost this darker, sinister turn to the wind as it just becomes more and more prominent and louder, making people harder to sleep through. But you find yourselves there at the steps, the main garden, which is all destroyed as well. But you made it.
Alright,
How-
so guys, you know what I just realized? We wanted to sleep in there. I don't think that's gonna work.
No. As the dust clouds, I'm guessing, are just like come to place. I'm just gonna look at it like, yeah, probably not. I mean, we can try and build like a rubble house fort, but it's doesn't seem worth the effort.
No.
Meanwhile, Orin approaches Cal. Cal, I'm so
Yes.
sorry, I almost killed you.
Well, no, not really. I did tell you to go first, so that was really my own stupidity.
I'm just glad you're alright.
You didn't break
You
the
are
rope.
alright.
It's been easier if you did. Yes, I'm fine. I'm fine. I really need a good night's sleep, but like I'm peachy.
When I get back to Trustvilla, I will track down the bastard who sold me that rope. Break it not
It's
once,
not a
but
good
twice.
Yeah. Right. Can we get to sleep now? That was enough excitement for one day.
Agreed. Where's our card?
Also, Mr. Giant.
You see the hill giant is currently at the steps next to Helen, who's kind of breathing heavily. You see he's there, just kind of like trying to take his breath. You can see some scrapes and cuts against his skin where he had to try and push past the broken tunnels. But he's just kind of there, breathing heavily. But you can see his eyes kind of open and adjusting to the sounds of the Howling Mountains.
We're sorry we broke your temple. We promise we didn't do it intentionally. That just kind of happened.
I know. Don't worry about the temple. It's fine. It can always be rebuilt. I thank you for saving my life. I don't know how I can say thank you otherwise. I was left a mindless beast for so long.
What do you know how long exactly? I mean, it's currently, and Helen would kind of give more or less what the current like day date is.
Yeah. You inform him that the date is 1081 AC, Age of Collapse. You see he kind of looks over. Well, this temple stood as a beacon for, 22 years ago. And this is when it all fell apart. 22 years. 22 long years.
Helen would just kind of nod and pull out a notebook and kind of the same notebook and kind of scribble some notes about the temple down and everything and the story.
At this point, you see a thicket, an odd sight as lights are beginning to illuminate and some bit of visibility in the general surroundings. You see this almost like a bush, a leaf that has been colored to represent the same stonework as the general surroundings, this grayish stone. But it's clearly a leaf pattern. And you get the sense that this is the same hut, the same dome that Tuco had created for you to stay in the night before. And you can now, noticing it and being pointed towards it as Tuco walks up, I had to think on my feet. I had no illusionary spells except for my small hut and home. So I tried to think of something quickly and give at least the cart a bit of protection. Z? And he kind of begins to inquire. You see, poking their head out through the illusion, Z, the hobgoblin, produced this up. Hi. Yeah, we're all safe. All good. Temple, not so much.
No, we broke it.
You broke it. Okay, don't tell anyone that, because they won't be happy.
Right. Well, it wasn't our fault, per se. We broke a curse, and that broke the temple. So...
That's exactly what you should
It's
say.
more of a causation... Okay.
The horses are fine as well, by the way. They're just on the other side of this leaf.
Helen would kind of go over and stick her head in the illusion and take a look at the horses.
The way that the hut has been placed has been so because the horses and the caravan are too big to go in the hut, they've been placed behind the hut. So the illusion of this hut has been created as almost like a false dome to go in front of them. So you pop your head through, you don't see them, then you have to pop your head through again on the other side, and you see them just against the wall. They're looking around for some like bit of grass to eat. They're just kind of like sniffing at the ground. There's nothing growing in these parts, so they're just looking. They seem unfazed. They don't really know what's going on. They still have the earmuffs on their head.
Go back
to be a horse.
Horses seem utterly unfazed, which is weird for horses. You know, usually they're a bit skittish, shaky.
At this point, Z.
I'm going to go to bed.
Z will inform everyone. Are we sure we want to stay here and sleep for the evening? We could try and traverse through. I don't know how long we have left, but I do worry about staying overnight.
I mean,
but I want to sleep.
we're all pretty injured. I think if at least some people get a little bit of sleep, it might be better than encountering something as we currently are.
All right. Yeah, we can try and. Hey, look, this place has been difficult to find for ages. I didn't even think it existed, so maybe we might get lucky.
I mean, people who wants to sleep can sleep in the car, and we can drive it, right?
We can try to.
I mean, honestly, I'll take that. As long as I get to sleep, I don't really care. Also, Z Tuku, this is. Wait, what's your name? No, I ask a giant.
Oh, you're asking me. I've gone by Nokuma for so long. The name's Silver Eye Cognar. That's my name. Feels weird.
It's
saying it.
lovely to meet you. My name's Cal.
Wait, Silver Eye is the first name or the family name?
No, this is a title I was given by being a priest of Moradin.
Ah, okay. Is it common for priests to receive titles?
There are different titles for different people. I have an eye for minerals, and I sorted through many stone and try to find valuable resources for the temple to use. But different names for different jobs, different professions.
Yeah, but sorry to disappoint you, but you probably won't fit into our cart, so you have to walk.
That's okay.
I'll
I'm alright
take
for
the
walking.
first walk-in section as well, given you guys are a bit more banged up than I am. Just kind of looking around at the lot of us who are all at different stages of not looking the healthiest.
At this point, Olrin, you've completely healed.
Yep.
Or it's just ready to go.
Over time, all of his.
Meanwhile,
I mean-
Calcer's arm half gnawed off. Nose bleeding.
I like to picture a kind of like time lapse of Orin running through before and after the temple, and it's just every minute a photo of his face where he is just like destruction behind him, bleeding profusely, and it's just all healing up nicely.
I'm the real reason this temple went down. I absorbed all the magic holding it together.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're deciding to continue then
Obviously.
through the night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, at least
Yeah.
try to reach the safe place. But
Before
Rest.
we do that, the giant statue of Moradin is still standing?
It is, yeah. So
Okay.
you turn around, Olrin, to see that the mountain in which this temple is carved into, a lot of it has crumbled into itself at this point. But the main face of the entrance seems to hold quite sturdy. The statue of Moradin stands quite proud. And as you begin to kind of look at it, you can see between the legs and some of the exposed parts that go into the center of the mountain that's crumbled away. You can see past and the rest of the mountains and some of the sky. Where that statue of Sahanin was standing, you do see her almost appearing through the rubble as all of that dust, all of that stone that fell up from above has all been disintegrated away, and you see her just still standing there as well. So you see the both of them stood within periphery.
Kevin. I approach the statue of Moradin to kneel down and offer prayer. Whedon, we have hopefully rooted out all the evil that befell this temple, freed its prisoners. But though it was not my intention, it came at great cost. The temple is in ruins, as you see. But I swear, I will return one day to rebuild it have it rebuilt all by my own hands. It will stand in all its glory. And I remove my Moradin sigil and place it at the foot of the statue.
You leave your holy symbol, an item which defines you as a cleric, physically, for people to understand who you represent. But that isn't needed when you have such a devout faith for such a god. You place it at the foot and you give out this prayer. You take a stand back as you just look one more time against the frame of Moradin, broken and left in rubble. Standing there by your side, you see the hill giant. He looks forward as well and follows your gaze. We will rebuild this place. You won't be alone. There are a lot of us here. We just need to find and rebuild.
One day. Hopefully soon. Until then, I will leave this offering, proof of my commitment.
As you stare there for a moment and then begin to leave, you feel this glimmer, this glint. You turn and look over your shoulder and you see the symbol that you left behind. There is no daylight, it is pitch black. There is no moon out either. You cannot see it because there is too many clouds above that are rushing past at incredible speeds. But it glimmers. And you sense that a seed at least has been planted here for Moradin to return. And you head back and be on your way. So, who is in the cart resting and who is on foot?
Me.
Helen's gonna take like a first shift walking.
Okay, Helen's walking.
I'm
So-
in the
I can walk
cart,
too. I can walk
sleeping.
too. I'm also not that hurt.
Okay.
I
I'm
will
also
probably
walking.
drive the cart.
So, am I the only one sleeping?
Yep.
I take that.
You can cuddle with Mushu if you want to.
Mushu needs some rest.
Also, wait, Ilya, isn't Axon at 1 HP?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, but I will drive the cart. Like, I mean, it's not like hard work, right?
Just don't whip yourself.
Merely flesh wound.
Yeah, I just need to hold, straight, not fall off the cart, and then I'm fine. I hope.
Right.
Yeah, but
He's
I.
not- Helen
Yeah, I
take
will
the
heal
cart.
myself. I use cure wounds before, we head out.
Okay, so you give yourself a bit of a boost before
Yeah.
you go.
Helen will
Yeah,
Cal
it's
Cal
probably
is
nice
just
to
curled
use
up
your
on the
HP.
back of the
Gotcha.
cart, hugging the shoe with the earth on it to his chest and just sleeping.
All right, so Helen and Cal and Mushu, the three of you take some time inside the cart to rest, and the rest of you will go on foot. All right, so for the guys who are on foot, I would like each one of you to roll a survival check, as you are just keeping an eye out and walking about this area. For Axon, I'd like you to roll a animal handling check to see how well you can maneuver the horses. Do bear in mind they were very tired already by this point, and they only really had about 20 minutes, 30 minutes of rest. So they are still quite knackered, pulling you guys around. But
Yeah, I mean, I will not force them to go fast, just
Okay.
so we could move and not stay at one place.
All right. And that'll be an animal handling check from you, Maxon.
Can I guide myself just in case?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So the three of you, kind of keeping an eye out, managing the horses, rolling forward. You follow the path that you kind of came into before, a side-winding road that wasn't following this main, almost more secured path, a bit more wider, a bit more manageable, and easier to understand. This side path is a bit tricky to navigate, and you see Z alongside you, Exon, kind of helping you out and guiding you along. You see on occasion she's also kind of pondering and looking around. All right, I think we're going the right way, but it's a little bit tricky at night. The wind makes everything a bit harder to see and understand, but I think we're on the right track. Just keep going straight. Not like we can go anywhere else. That's one path. For Ulrin, as you are continuing this path on foot, you do have some time with Cognar, who does kind of look down towards you, still holding the belt in his hand. You see he's holding it tight in his fist. And he kind of like strikes up conversation. So what brought you to the temple then? Were you following the path? You're muted, Arne. Arne, you're muted.
Bloody hell.
You can see him just go, fucking hell.
Every time.
Every
Anyway.
time.
Well, it's been a while since the last pilgrimage to this temple. I was just on my way through to Bellavia, yet heard of its peril when I arrived at Iros Gate. Since I happened upon it, I suggested we should investigate it, maybe free it of whatever lurks inside. We managed that at the cost of the temple, though.
You see he nods. That's good. If you're able to save any relics, that's good. Just keep them on yourselves. Make sure they're safe. I don't want to lose anything else. I can't remember what happened over these last 20 years. It's foggy. Comes in and out. But we had a lot of people come here. Thieves, yetis, gnolls, everything in between. Try to steal and take whatever they can. Lost a lot of good history. But we'll have to repopulate and write our own history now, I guess.
For what it's worth, after hearing of the temple's downfall over in Trasvilar, I had little hope of survivors, so I am glad we found you.
See, he just shakes his head. Yeah. I couldn't find anyone else. I was all alone. But it was my duty to make sure that the temple was safe. It became more of an obsession, really. This belt, this curse left me with only one drive, one goal, and that was to be at that temple. I would have asked for help. I would have sought others, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. But I'm glad you came. And thank you.
I reach up with my hand, like patting his back, but obviously I don't reach that high.
He hits his ass.
Okay, I don't reach that high either.
He just nods and... Yeah. It's in times like these you need a bit of faith. It goes a long way.
Agreed.
as you continue your journey. You hear, Ulrin, a shift in the wind. Not as though the wind has moved itself, but rather something has moved through it. Like a flapping sound has and just moved through and placed itself in an area where the sound is no longer made. Whether it has just flown by like cloth on the wind, or if it's something that's purposefully now hiding, it's hard to say, but you just get that feeling of being watched.
Keep an eye out. I think I heard something. And I try to have a look around while moving.
Okay. Did you tell anyone else this?
Yeah, that's what I just did.
Okay, sorry. It's just whether you're asking May Seeley because she's also there.
Yeah, I speak generally to everyone who is there.
Okay. Then those of you that wish can roll a perception check as you're maneuvering forward. Okay. Making up for the nat ones you got earlier. You, Orin, walking ahead with the cart. You can see the horses are beginning to slow down a little bit. Axon not wishing to push them. You can see in the side of the mountain to your left, maybe about 120, 200 feet up, you see the stone which glistens in the light that Axon shines. But there's an area where it's more opaque than shiny. And you stare up at that spot and you can see it's this large mass of just like shadow in that area. And then you see a glint of silver, it seems, like an arc of silver. You've seen these creatures before. These flew by in a snap. A horde of them flew past when you crossed the bridge earlier this morning. You see it black as night, but there is eyes there. Black eyes that have a white dot in them. And you can see the dot kind of stares down towards you as it's watching. To describe them best would be a manta ray, wide, flat, almost like a kite, or cloth, but completely stuck to the side of this wall and just looks down in your direction.
Be careful. There's one of those flying things over there on the mountainside. Do you see it?
You point up and everyone can see it.
Well, then let's try not to provoke it and move further. And how long till we get to safety? And I look at the.
I don't know. We'll just have to keep going. We don't want any of these things near us. They're quite deadly. They're called saber wings. You do not want to get in the way of them when they're flying. They'll cut right through you. Cut through stone.
You think that it's sitting and just watching, so let's let's just go.
You continue to stride ahead. Olrin, with your natural 20, you turn and keep watching to ensure that it doesn't follow or try to do anything sinister. As you do, you see this, what essentially is a blanket of cloth just against the wall. you see something underneath it wriggle for a moment, and popping out a head from beneath where the wall and it is, you see a head pop out, a humanoid-shaped head, look out in your direction, and just fold back in.
You're right, we should go. That thing is very creepy. I swear I just saw a humanoid head or something.
You saw a head.
I think so, yeah. Do you know anything about that?
Well, Moradin wasn't the first people to be here in this mountainside. Iris, anyone. There was a society that called this place home. Made themselves look like, lived with, and became ingratiated with these saber wings. Fanatics, zealots. They are people of these mountains, but never had good things. So best stay away from them.
If it was indeed some indigenous person of these mountains, we best stay on guard. I start to doubt anything good lives here. No slight on you, friend. And I turn around to the hill giant.
Without Moradin here, I think you're right. There's little to trust. This Nightshade society is... it's all too grim for me. You continue to traverse through, and you find yourselves arriving at the same point in which you deviated from the main path. You take the right-hand turn, and you continue to traverse. At this point, both Helen and Cal have gained a short rest, as you've trekked long enough to heal some of your wounds at least. At this point, if you want to do a swap over or anything, I don't know, that's up to you. But you guys have healed a short rest. Is there any swapping over, or are you continuing in the same format?
Wait, who is Todane? And why we have the Song of Rest?
Today is a part in a different party.
I mean, I kind of figured it out, but why it's applied to us?
No idea.
Right.
Lovely.
Yeah, you too. Yeah.
Strange.
Nice.
Campaign crossover already. So you're sticking as you are? Staying in this format?
Helen would kind of
I'm full life. So.
rustle up a little bit and just kind of look around. Does anyone look hurt / look like they need a bit of a break?
Fucking accent's fucked.
Helen would kind of rub the sleep out of
I don't know, what do you mean? Like, I'm looking good.
You should take a you should sleep.
Excellent. If you want to take a rest yourself, I could take the reins for a moment.
Or I can do it.
No, I'm fine. I mean,
You
I'm
certainly don't
looking.
look-
Well, the looks might be deceiving, you know.
Helen's gonna
Just
look
stop
at
being
pointedly
stubborn and come
start
here.
reaching for the book. the Fey book, like looking at it, and, like, at the
we have enough
threat,
problems.
start reaching for the book.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Continue to refuse to sleep.
No.
As
That's a
long as
bad
it
idea.
does not explode like with the fireball, I'm really good.
But
Good
it
opening it.
might. We don't know. It won't.
I mean,
Axon, if those Skyray people choose to catch up with us, you better be rested.
Hell,
out
it's
of the
not.
game, I don't get anything except for the HP from the short rest. So
Yeah, neither do I. I still did it.
Out of the game, I strongly advise take the HP. Like, dude.
Just do it.
all right. Like, if you want and you insist so hard, then sure, take it. I'm not like, I won't be so stubborn.
Helen would like
that
just
was-
sit where he was sat and take the reins and kind of.
Okay. Then Helen, I'd like you to roll an animal handling check as you're taking over the reins. And for the rest of you, whoever is on the foot, roll another survival check, please.
I'm not on foot, but I am awake now. Can I help them?
Sure.
Just
you
give
Oh,
one of
no.
them advantage by looking around and going like, oh, that looks interesting.
My sweet horses, what do you do to them?
Fine.
They're fine.
I'm gonna give Orin advantage by poking his shoulder and being like, oh, look at that.
Okay, Orin, you
then
can roll
so-
again if you want.
Yep.
So,
Jesus Christ!
This is fucking cursed.
oh no, he's been like that the entire day. It's just up and down.
Can I just say the game still owes me a net 20?
Well, you've said it now. So
It does!
Right? 3 nat
Now
1s.
you will
Is
receive.
that how it works?
Now you will receive another nat 1. Mark
Yeah,
my
just
words.
Yeah.
for being
Yeah.
cocky.
Wait, I just rolled a random d20 to get the net 1 out of the system,
It's gonna be
okay?
a nat 20. Don't do it, dude.
That's good. That's
Okay.
good.
Well, that's
That's
50 enough,
more-
that's gotta help.
Okay,
Hey, wait. That's the third 4 you've rolled. That is the third 4.
that's a bit creepy. Everything's in 3s, Adane. 3
This keeps
1s,
happening.
3 4s.
Exactly, I'm waiting on my 20.
Okay. Traveling forward, Helen, you take the reins and you can see the horses are starting to go a bit more slow at this point. You're taking a bit more time. You can see one of them just kind of has to take more of a breather. Pineapple's just a bit more exhausted and just having to take a breath, whilst Apple's just looking at them, just like shrugging their shoulders and ready to go. So you're just there waiting on them more so they. Maycelia, as you're looking around and keeping an eye out, you do see further ahead where the path begins to almost zigzag and there are multiple avenues to go. There are spikes that begin to protrude out of the ground and create this kind of hardened area to walk through. The cart will need to be maneuvered in certain ways, but you kind of take a look ahead first and you find a way to navigate that space. So you inform that to Helen, and Helen begins to drive around these areas. One thing you do also notice, Maycelia, is that at the base of one of these spikes, you notice there is a large patch of congealed blood that is just left there sodden on the ground. As well, with your dark vision, you can see that there is a patch of shadow where this blood has been almost stripped out of. It looks like one of these saber wings has been almost split in half, and you can see the inside of their body is being kind of splayed out onto the ground. Blood has just covered the ground completely. This creature has now gone from this like black, almost underwater look to almost slight grey in areas. And where it is kind of split in two, you can see they have very thin bones. Most of it is like heavy muscle. But the blood just trails in and deeper into this cave. But there is this dead creature just in front of you. You have to go around it, but your survival instincts tell you that perhaps this area there might be something within those caves, and this kill is somewhat fresh.
I think there's something sketchy in the caves.
From what I learned, there's something
that seems
sketchy
to
in
check
every
out
cave
the
in this
area.
direction.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
And in that direction, and in that one, and in that one.
Probably just in this whole area, to be honest. I mean,
Besides that, we can't really be subtle having a cart and a hill giant with us.
As it's pointed out to the group of you, who has the highest passive perception? I always forget. Is it Helen or is it?
mine is
I have a 15.
16.
16. Okay, Axon, you don't have.
Yeah, I have 17, but it's like I'm sleeping or
You're
at least
inside,
resting.
So this is more for Helen because you do have 16. You can look over to where Macelia pointed to, and you see the corpse there on the ground. You also notice that there is a part of its wing or its body that seems to be over some sort of harness system. You see there seems to be a harness that's attached to this creature, which is covered in this like black paint. Seems to be like a leather harness or so. And there is also a bag attached to it. You see just this knapsack that's just there lying. Just there.
Helen would kind of look over at Arm and be like, hold on to. Yeah, take the horses for a second. I would hop down and carefully walk over and just, like, take a sticky beak at what is in the bag and take a closer look at the harness.
Okay. Just roll a stealth check as you get closer and then examine and get involved. 10. Okay. Does anybody else act as well, or is it just Helen that's going in?
I'm the one grabbing the horses from her, but aside from that.
Okay.
I keep some distance from Helen to not compromise her stealth, but ready to jump in if something happens.
Okay, just roll a perception check for me, Ulrin.
Okay.
Okay, you keep an eye out in the general vicinity. You look in this, you sneak up to the spot, Helen. You try and go as slow and as deftly quiet as possible. Seeing the wing, it looks like quite a heavy chunk of like meat, muscle. It takes a while to like lift it up. You can see the harness is all very flush with the rest of the body, almost like it's made out of the same material. It's soft to the touch. It feels quite like silky, the skin. But as you lift it up, you can see the harness. You can also see the bag that's been left there. This kind of black bag that's just bound up and now.
I'm gonna actually probably take the tip of my sword and just carefully kind of flick the lid of it open.
You open it up, and you can see it's just a hollow darkness inside. You'd have to kind of like get closer and examine if you want to have a good look.
Yeah, she'd kind of squat down and kind of get a closer look at it.
Okay.
Okay, am I the only one that can't hear Brooke?
Yes,
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
I can hear her.
yeah,
Why
me
can't
too.
I hear her? What do you
Imagine-
mean, me too? You can hear or you can't hear her?
I
can
can
hear.
hear her.
I can hear her.
What is happening? Okay.
Try
Did you
to
mute or something?
rejoin the Discord.
No, why would I mute her?
Maybe you secretly.
Okay, I'm
made-
just gonna go best of
Oh, no.
their expressions, I guess.
So, Helen, as you investigate and look at it, you can see the bag looks to be empty. It looks to be hollow. Doesn't seem to be anything inside. But this is where you notice that the bag itself has a blood-marked hand against it, as if something was holding it and then maybe ripped away. And you can see the marks go all the way into this cave, as though someone has been dragged into there. This beast from what you can assume, was torn in half, and then whoever was riding it was taken into this cave. And you can just see blood marks, trails, indentations of where some sort of fight had taken place, but left inside the cave.
Helen's just gonna turn around and I forget exactly what it's called, but do the psychic link with Ulrin and just kind of look towards the cave, and in your mind you just hear, someone's been dragged in there. Person, whatever was riding this thing, something's torn it off it and taken it in there.
So, probably one of the indigenous people.
It's recent enough the person might still be alive, but it's a question of how much we care.
I think I've compromised your safety enough for now, so I would leave the decision to you.
Does this look at all like, I know it was very briefly and from a very far distance, but does this kind of match like what would make sense from the like person that I saw that was flying with the things like earlier in the trip?
I think as you're beginning to put it all together, it seems that some of these saber wings do have mounts and riders, and it seems to be a connection between what Cognar was saying earlier about this Nightshade Society. So you assume that maybe one of their members have been dragged into this cave, but as well as you're examining the cave and looking around and judging up your options, you smell rot inside of there. You smell humidity as well. And for it to be coming out of a cave like that when there is wind buffeting everything, it's got to be heavy, got to be strong. And this is a den of something, something strong.
Yeah. Helen would kind of slowly draw the big crossbow and goes, and just kind of still just in Ulrin's mind hears, whatever's been living here has been killing a lot of things. Might be worth our while, even if whatever was riding this thing is long dead.
I already owe you all anyway for following me back into the temple. It's time I follow you.
Alright. Helen just kind of turns around and goes, maybe carefully, quietly, tell the others. I'll wait here, and we'll kind of kneel down a little bit while she waits for everyone else to kind of catch up, and just has the crossbow kind of trained on the entrance. Probably try and kneel a little bit behind the corpse of the big stingray thing.
Okay. Yeah, start to inform the others.
So you inform everyone.
No rest for
Helen
the
is
wicked,
there.
huh?
I'd say for you, Axon, you do get your short rest in, because this was some time into it. So you get a good 30 minutes of rest.
Yeah, but you need to have an hour.
That's 30
For
to 1 hour. It's between the two. So you're good.
Okay. I roll now. And what do I roll?
Okay, so Helen
We're going
is-
into the cave.
Helen is looking at the cave with her crossbow out. Owen has informed all of you of the current situation. Is this something that you all wish to pursue, or how are you going about it?
I intend to follow Helen into the cave. Whoever would be joining us is most welcome. There may be danger inside.
Ooh. Well, we
But-
did just follow you into a dark, mysterious thing, so we might as well follow her into a dark, mysterious thing now. But that does mean we all get a turn with a dark, mysterious thing. So the next time Axon finds something dark and mysterious, we also go in there.
It already seems that we will follow each other into whatever deep cave we find.
Perfect.
Idea though.
You see Cognar just kind of looks over. Are you sure this is a wise idea? Going in.
I'm rather sure it's not, but I can't very well leave her on her own.
Also, you said that like someone got like a rider or something got taken off of that thing, so we could be rescuing someone. That's
Doubt it.
always to be the goal. Well, think optimistic for once.
I'll try.
Thank you. Not to
But
ask.
just to be safe, at the first sign of danger, we run. Well, you run. Apparently, I will trot behind you.
Well, at least you have a lot of stamina, so you can trot a lot.
Hopefully, all the way out of this area. Besides, we should hurry. Survival chances inside that cave aren't exactly getting higher.
Very true.
Okay, so who's going into the cave? Is it everyone? Sealy seems lackluster.
I'm just gonna say that I do agree with the giant. It's probably not the best idea right now.
Oh, I also agree with the giant.
a horrible idea. I think we all agree with it. Oh, we can play book again. Oh my god. I think we all agree with the giant.
At this point, we owe it to this campaign to wipe our party in some damn cave.
Very
If
moist.
you give me
We've gotten away too many times.
But like, can't we like choose life?
if you give me a moment, I can ask a fate if it's good idea or not, and I will try and cast augury.
Well, spoiler, it's
Yeah.
not.
Throw some bones, like. But I will do it in the card, so no wind should interfere.
Okay. You cast a spell. You throw your. I don't even have to ask you what the possible questions or answers are to this. It's bad. It's bad. Very bad. Very bad. The bones shake like that. They're clackling on the wood. They're
The
scared.
bones run away from the cave.
Dark black smoke forms a skull above the die.
So
Yeah,
how
they-
about we don't do it?
say
What
it's
does
not
that
looking good.
mean?
It means that it's safe to go. We can go in and we'll have a lot of fun.
See?
No.
The bones have spoken. The bones say it's a good idea. No?
Of course it's not. No. If you want to go in,
Oh.
you will probably perish, or maybe it will be worse. But that's a really bad idea to go in.
Worse than perishing? Oh, well, we could return.
Yeah.
Can we
Yes,
like just not
see
do
this?
this?
Wait, you see
skinned
this white
alive
bone?
and have our eyes poked out. Yes.
Yeah, and you see in which position and where it is like located right now?
Yes.
Now remember in which phase the moon is?
No, I don't.
You see? Then... And if you will locate like the brightest star above us, or if there are any stars at all.
Brightest. I can't see any stars. I'm sorry. There's too much clouds.
Then you need to assume it's northern star, and look like
Okay.
to the north.
Okay, so you just assume. Got it. Okay. Where's
And-
wait, no. Okay, I know where north is. That's
Yeah, and now you sum it up together, and you see that this bone tells you that it's a freaking bad idea to go inside.
okay. Okay. What about that bone? Does that tell us
Oh.
the same thing, or is that of a different opinion?
Yeah, if we take into account this bone and we remember what like day it is right now and what kind of like week from the beginning of the year. So
Wow.
yeah, and the position and the point where it is right now, yeah, it's kind of similar saying with that other bone.
Right. So Axon's bones are saying we're gonna die.
I better inform Helen that the bones have doomed us.
They are not saying that you are gonna die. They are saying that it's freaking bad idea to go inside. But of course, you can try and break the fate and like prevail nonetheless. But you know, it will be hard.
Mm-hmm. The bones say no. No.
You can speak back to me for the next hour, by the way, Ulrin.
Oh, okay. In that case, in my mind, I will inform you that the bones severely disagree with your decision to enter this cave.
Helen would kind of sit back up a little bit and kind of just look over and then nod, and then just before she leaves, can she kind of dig through the bag to see if there's just like anything left that might signify like who this person was?
You begin to kind of like rummage through the bag, and your hand goes through, and it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going.
Take. Helen will take.
Mine.
Oh, she's got a bag of holding to store all her cursed books.
Creepy
And
Barbie,
statues.
creepy Barbie dolls, creepy fate books. Right.
Helen, as you are kind of like grabbing these items and picking them up, you do get like a sense of something watching you.
Yeah, she'd just continue like unnoticed, like as if she hasn't noticed anything, and telepathically to Ulrich and go, think we might have onlookers. Maybe just tell the others quietly and get on the cart. I'll be over in a second. And just like continue at the same pace as to not seem like hurried or anything, and just like free the bag or the saddlebagger from them.
You try to go as quickly as you can to the cart, and you hear this just a loud scraping sound. What do you do?
Do I have the bag?
You have the bag, yeah.
I'm just gonna do a little hop step and just continue towards the cart.
Okay. You do not look in the direction where the sound came from, and you
No.
begin to go to the cart as quick as you can. The rest of you hear this loud scraping sound as well. Oren, you are kind of focused on Helen. What do you do as you're kind of hearing that as well?
Helen's coming back. Get ready to leave. Fast, by the sound of it.
Okay.
I mean, what do you mean fast? Horses?
Behind Helen into the cave. Is there movement?
Horses are already tired. We cannot move fast. So
Well, we can certainly try, right, horses?
yeah, you can
see
ask
the
them.
horses begin to prepare themselves
I
as
did.
Helen gets back on the cart. The sound continues, just this loud scraping sound. You're not sure where it's coming from. It just seems to be echoing out of the cave. The sound just continues. Just heavy, deep, like metal against stone, just these scrapes and scrapes just continuing to echo from the cave. You all begin to leave. You travel, you leave, and for a moment, out of the periphery of your vision, you can almost see something trying to emerge from the cave. Something large, something big and furred. But you leave before you can even see
Is it a Yeti? No! Come on!
No.
You continue on your journey through these broken bits of mountain range, windy paths, and then you see, as you turn a corner, a warm light, like a soft white light, a beacon of warmth and restoration. You see a space where the mountains almost seem to have a large ditch down the sides, and the wind no longer blows through. You see there is just a large open space until you reach another wall, a man-made structure, but this one has a design to it. The previous wall you'd seen was mainly a plain face, nothing design-wise to it, only etchings and carvings to the lefts and the rights. This one, however, depicts a woman, arms spread out to the left and the right. You can see the face seems to be depicting some sort of hobgoblin individual, female, pointed ears, and their body is acting as the top of this wall. You can see the arms stretch out wide, but the face is soft. It's inviting, it's warmly, and in each palm you see these lights seem to emanate from, and they hold out with a very soft, inviting presence. You giddy up faster on the horses, seeing as you're at the final stretch now, and find yourself traveling through that open space. The wind howling, no longer. It stops as soon as you traverse this path. You turn back and you can just see the kind of curved formations of the mountains just stopped. You can almost see the wind buffeting back on itself and almost stopped by an invisible barrier as dust just kicks out and back into itself, kept within the mountains. And you arrive at this wall. Ulrin, you can roll a history check at advantage. Because your whole thing is about stone, mate. You're the stone guy. Not on this
I
instance.
try to be the stone guy.
Yeah. You are too enraptured in trying to get to safety, and you do not kind of pick up on who this individual is depicted in the stonework. You just try and get to safety as soon as possible. You can see Z now kind of takes off of the cart and begins to walk up ahead. You see as you do arrive closer and closer, this side does have a large portcullis gate. Right in the sternum of this feminine figure. You see it just rise upwards as you approach, and seemingly informed for your arrival, you see several guards are standing, waiting by the gates. You can see they hold themselves torches, flamed. They themselves are more monstrous races. You see orcs, half-orcs, bugbears, goblins, as well as hobgoblins as well. You see them all standing patrolling in the purple and green colors of the Ebrith dynasty. As soon as he approaches, you see they give her a wide smile as she comes through. And you see Z begins to converse with them and then turn back to the rest of you. All right, well, we made it. We have places to stay in this wall. So if you want to just lay low for a bit, just follow me and I'll get you some cabins for the night. and then you can head off in the morning. Well done,
well.
you. Congratulations. That's a feat not many accomplish, I'll be honest.
I mean, we did promise you that you reach the other side safe and sound. So here you are.
Well, my fate seemed to be I was fairly confident with my own state. The rest of you, however, was my 5%, if anything. I wasn't very confident.
Lower, definitely lower.
Especially when that temple started falling down. That's when it all kind of went downhill.
Yeah.
But we all made it, so round of applause for you guys. I'm fucking tired, so I'm going to hit the hay, but I'll show you to your rooms first, and then you can set up where you need to.
About Cogna, is there perhaps a room his size?
She looks over. Yeah, of course. We have all sorts of rooms, giants included.
Nice.
Please, just come on, follow me. You can leave your horses over
gladly.
there. And she points over to on the other side of this wall. You can see there's a bit more of a structure that's been placed. The wall is the same thickness as the previous one you would walk through, so it takes you a while to get through to the other side. But as soon as you do, you can see there's a bit more of an establishment here. Some buildings, as well as some more fortifications, barracks, as well as stables. She points over towards the stables and she just gestures. You can leave pineapple and apple over there if you want, and then over here in this stable, the building to the left of the stables, you can just stay in there. Tell them that Z sent you, and you should be able to get some lodging for the evening. For you, big guy, you can follow me. I'll take you to the other place. You see, he just nods and kind of begins to follow her. Okay, I will find lodging elsewhere and find my own way, but until then, let's just rest.
Well spoken.
All right, have a good night, guys. And he begins to head off, still holding the belt in his hand quite tight, just walking over in the direction of Z. You guys leave your cart behind at the stables. You put your horses up and saddle them. Leave them. As soon as you find that stables, you see the horses just conk over. They just completely exhausted, just fall to the ground. There's grass growing here, and you see Apple just eating as much as he can, just kind of like stuffing his face with all of the fresh grass here. And
Yeah,
you
we'll
guys
just-
have your own place. Yeah.
I just pet them and just whisper quietly that thank you for getting us out of that nasty business.
It's okay. See, Apple just smiles. I love you.
Oh, I still owe you some apples. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I hope then tomorrow, tomorrow morning, I hope I will find some.
Okay. Thank you. Good day.
Good night.
Right. Can we get a bit now?
I will be
Like, I know I
sleeping
had
in
a nap, but
a while.
yeah.
And will just
Mhm,
march off towards where she was told there was beds.
It's not the best accommodations. It's a shared bathroom, and it's more of a hostel theme, just kind of like temporary use for people who need to stay. And it's warm inside, though. There's food there as well. It's provided, very basic rations, but it's still food and grub. You'll have bunk beds to split between yourselves. And there's no one else here. There's no one else that's come through. The guards seem to rest in another place in the barracks. So you guys have this hostel to yourselves.
Helen would push
Oh
two
my
of the
God, it's
beds together to make like one mega bunk,
Mm-hmm.
and then would climb up to the top of the mega bunk and like put her bedroll like across both of them.
Very nice. Extra comfort. Living in style. You see
Yeah,
Tuco.
Cal
he
just
finds-
falls on top of the first one.
You just conk out on top of the first one. Tuco does the same. He just follows, just falls, just begins to sleep. Still fully clothed.
He didn't even do anything. What's he so exhausted by?
He's a little guy. He was jumping around everywhere.
Yeah.
He's like Yoda. He can only jump
Yes, he
around for so
was.
long, then needs to pull his cane out and start walking.
He's
All right.
like Yoda.
The rest of you, are you all heading to bed, sleeping for the evening?
Sleeping. I'm cuddling with Mushu.
Okay, Mushu just tucks it in. You can see he's still hurting. You can hear him every so often go, just, ow.
I'm gonna pet him.
Okay. It makes it better, you see. He kind of like enjoys it. It does help soothe some of the pain. He is a familiar after all, so he only has a certain amount of pain threshold. Then he just puffs away and disappears forever. But he has some tangibility to him. So he can still feel, and he feels hurt, but he also feels love. So he just enjoys the moment. Okay, and Axon and Olrin, the two of you guys, also heading off.
No, I will stay with the horses.
Okay.
I am joking,
Yeah,
of course.
I head straight to bed, immediately surrendering the top bunk to Kel.
Oh no, I don't have any energy to climb on top of anything anymore. I'm just.
Fair enough.
I'm a ground
Yeah.
level.
But I finally take off the armor I've been probably wearing for significantly too long.
Yeah. The first safe place in maybe about 4 or 5 days where you've been able to actually take off the armor and relax a little bit. You can see like the heavy indentations across your skin from where it's just been like resting on your shoulders. It does feel like a weight off your shoulders. And as soon as you do take it off, you just find yourself almost like lifting up higher. Your back kind of clicks and you just fall into the bed. Just perfectly stretched out.
No. I just give one last side eye to the probably pretty bruised up armor, hit by stones, hit by gnolls and whatnot. It's gonna be a pain to fix. And then just fall asleep.
Yeah, just instantly. Okay. And Axon, you're just sleeping with the horses, is that right?
No, I will, of course, search for the cleanest place there is, and only then I will, try to go to sleep.
Okay. Are you looking inside the hostel, or are you going to try and look elsewhere?
The hostel, because I don't think we are allowed to go anywhere else. But though, if anyone would like notice him, he would be have quite a disappointed face.
Okay.
And like, it's like a noble is forced to sleep somewhere in the barn.
Yeah, I'll be honest, the toilets aren't what you're used to. It's a bit of a mess.
And like the only thought like always crossing the mind, wait, they don't use magic to clean this shithole?
It looks like they just use a piece of wood. That's it.
Poor guys.
Piece of wet wood. Alright. So you all find some rest and you'll sleep for the evening. As you rest, you regain all of your abilities. You wake up refreshed, and any of the items that you had with you that you wish to attune to that need attuning, do say so now, or at least before you go on your adventures. Because there are a few items still pondering. I'd say with this time, as you wake up as well in the hostel, you have some time to uncover what these items are, what they do, and it's about now where you can start distributing them because you know what they do.
Yeah, so I take the goblet, I think the rest is up to you to distribute.
Do we maybe want to... I'm starting again. Do we maybe want to do that outside of session? Because I think that would just take up a lot of time.
Yeah,
I can
sure.
also do that.
Helen would like try to get someone to, well, she'd have a look and then she'd try to get someone to look at the bag that she picked up before she puts anything in it, just to make sure it's actually what she thinks it is.
Yeah. This is a bag of holding.
Yeah. And it was attached
Nice.
to like a saddle, more or less, kind of, right?
Yeah,
Or
it
was-
seems to be ripped off of the saddle. It seems to have been like, because the creature was like torn in half and thrown around, it seems to have just like fallen to the wayside, but it was attached to the saddle. So this is also in like a deep black color, same as these saber wings.
Can she try and like attach it kind of to the back side of like the bag she has?
Yeah, she can. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. And one question for Helen: where did you have the book during your sleep last night?
The book, she would have had it like in her like pack, which she probably would have had up kind of in one of the corners of the mega bunk bed. So she would have had it up kind of next to her, probably at her feet.
Okay. As you're kind of like waking up and your eyes lulling slightly, you could see just in the corner of your eye, when you have like the sleep in the eye, it's a bit blurry. You could almost see like this small feminine statue moving and kind of like looking around at the bag. And as soon as you like focus your eyes onto the statue that you procured in the Moradin's temple, you see it just kind of like reverts back to its previous stance.
Yeah, she'd just kind of like do the like like just kind of I know what you are kind of thing. How much would Helen like know about bags of holding? Like,
I think bags of holding would be common knowledge. I think the idea of them is fairly understandable for most people, especially if you have a decent intelligence. So you understand the basics of the bag of holding.
yeah. Can she like, is like turning them inside out and just like trying to get all the stuff that like might be in them out a thing, or is it like it works by you have to know what's in it to get what's in it out of it? Kind of
No, you
thing?
can turn it inside out to just everything that was inside just falls out onto the ground.
Yeah. Should probably wait until people have like up and are kind of getting ready and like half of everyone's gone for breakfast and would kind of while she's up there just like kind of turn it inside out and see what was in it.
Okay, you turn it inside out and you see these 5 black balls just land onto the ground, as well as some bits of jerky and meat, and as well it seems to be a leftover almost like sword of sorts. It looks like it's a sword, but it seemed to be that trim, that bone which was on those saber wings that allows them to cut through the stone. It looks like it's been fashioned into some sort of scimitar. You can see there's a slight handle at the bottom. The blade itself seems to almost bend slightly and wobble as it lands onto the ground. But from what you know, they are quite sharp.
All right.
So you
Kind of pick them all up.
Yeah, sure.
Does any of them have any weird magic vibes? Just like kind of looking them over, looking for runes or anything?
Yeah, you can roll a Arcana check.
Let's see.
15. The balls seem to be almost condensed ash inside of them. You assume to be some sort of powder balls, smoke balls, something along those lines. The scimitar doesn't seem to have any magical attunements to it. It does seem to be very sharp, though. You imagine that this is quite a deft weapon, but it would take some getting used to, because it does have this kind of flexibility to it as it kind of holds in your hand.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Should put everything back in and kind of just start spinning the like sword around, trying to get used to like the weight of it.
Mm-hmm.
And would go out to breakfast.
All right. You all pick up some supplies from this establishment. They seem to have some surplus of food and rations that they just kind of give to anyone who's passed through the Howling Mountains. They give you water as well as some bits of food here and there. So you're fed to the point where it's sustainable. It's nothing fancy, no fancy meals, and yeah, you kind of prepare for the day. You see at this point, joining you for food, there is the the hill giant who is there with you. He does kind of walk over. You can see he's fashioned some sort of more appropriate outfit for himself. And you do begin to notice now that most of the hair and fur that's grown across his body has begun to fall out. It's almost like slight alopecia kicking in. The attunement of the belt seemingly fading away at this point, and meaning that all of the hair and fur that had grown from their body is now falling out. So you now begin to see this very kind of handsome-looking individual, but who has seen no kind of cleaning or looks quite scruffy underneath all of the fur that is now falling apart. He does kind of walk over. Well, that was the best sleep I've had in a while. So I had some time to reflect and think on what to do next. I don't want to be a burden at all of where you guys need to go. But I was hoping to find some more Moradin priests, or at least those that left the temple. Where are you guys heading exactly?
We're heading to Belavia. I kind of have a mission to do there, but I don't know. Is there Moradin temple in Belavia, Warren?
Do I know that?
You
No.
definitely know that there isn't.
No. I mean, there's the major temple in Trasvilar. However, these days Moradin isn't worshipped as much.
He nods and okay, Bolivar, that's Port City, right?
Yes.
Okay,
I speak boats.
will it be all right if I join you on that? I'd need to find safe travel to at least somewhere that knows some Moradin priests, and maybe I can find someone there as well.
Oh yes, that would actually be super cool. Like, imagine you're a robber and you want to attack us, and then there's just this giant right next to us. You would definitely reconsider attacking us then.
The more the merrier. And while
Yes,
the
I'll do
conversation's
that.
happening, she'd be like casting prestidigitation, like pretending that she's like cleaning the table or whatever, but just trying to like clean him up a little bit without him noticing.
You just begin to kind of like take some of the bugs out, diffuse the stink that's on him. There's no shower here. There's just a toilet, so there's no real cleaning facilities. So he's still shabby as ever, but you help. You do your best to try and get rid of some of that stench. 20 years of stench. It's going to take a while. So,
I'm
but he
gonna
doesn't
help
really
then.
notice. The two of you just prestidigitation the entire
Yeah.
body. It's like a fucking car wash.
Well, I look forward to companionship on the road ahead.
He gives a stern bow. And I would definitely love to hear what's been happening in the last 20 years. I've not been involved in the news, so I don't know what's been going on. So that would be nice to catch up.
Well, with the five of us, we should be able to piece everything together for you.
Okay.
What
I
happened
appreciate it.
in what region?
Okay.
Like, ignoring for a second what happened outside the temple, how much do you remember of what happened inside the temple? Because some of what we saw in there was not very cool.
Well, the temple was a lovely place. A place open for all looking to build something of themselves, be it fame, fortune, or just to achieve something else. All of the master crafters would come in and out of Moradin either to visit or to learn. Many who came stayed. I was the same. It was a nice place. It was quite addictive. You see everyone building their best, and it made you want to do more. It kind of pushed you, kept you going. You see people create great things, and you want to do the same. Nice place. Very family orientated. And that all fell apart, though, clearly. We lacked infrastructure. We didn't really have much of a defense. It was mainly just us, the clerics and priests. Not all of us had powers. Not all of us had the strength to fight back what came. We had each other, and that was enough. Only until she arrived. Sorceress. Powerful. Wielding the power of all of the gods. But yet, none at the same time. An enigma, to say the least. She was cruel, wicked. I saw her go out, destroy person on person on person. There were two of them. One that seemed to never die. A perpetual undead, just no matter what spells or things we threw her way, she just flew right through them and their spells. And the sorceress, well, she was wicked. She killed my master and left me with this. What was once my own creation left to be my own burden. I just hope that she's rotting in the ground. Because what she did was unthinkable.
Do you know, aside from you, do you know if any others were under the same curse? Or under something similar?
As far as I'm aware, I'm the only survivor of my temple. As soon as I came to, when they'd gone and taken a relic from the past from the vault, I didn't find any survivors. I had no sense of myself. I didn't even have a focus or a symbol of faith that I could use to imbue some healing magic or anything of the sort. I was lost. But you guys found me. And I'll be forever thankful of that. And if there's anything I can do to help you on your way, repair armor, fix things, find things, protect you, I'll do my best.
At least don't sell yourself short. I don't know if we could have all made it out of the collapsing temple if it weren't for your help in carrying some of us. Besides, you with your size certainly paved the way.
Sometimes it's a benefit being this big. But I'm just more afraid of everything that's lost in that temple. History on history left forgotten. Those statues, I wanted to protect them with every fiber of my being. But I guess that'll have to come later.
Perhaps the day we return, we will find what's left beneath the rubble.
I hope so. You see, as he kind of...
Callus. Sorry.
Go for it.
Callus is biting his lip, looking like he wants to ask another question, but he's unsure if he wants to ask it.
You see, this guy's wise enough now to see that you want to ask a question. Yeah? You have a question?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm being rude, but do you remember while you were still, yetified, there were other yetis in the temple, and someone had done horrible things to them. Like, do you have any idea who that was? Was it a different group of travelers that passed through the temple, or some sort of natural enemy to the Yetis, which I can't imagine? Was it those gnolls? I haven't found a possible explanation yet, and it's quite bothering me. If there's something that can do that to Yetis, then I really think, I don't know, these people, for example, should be warned.
I wasn't at the temple the entire time. I still had to find food and some way to survive. On occasion, I'd get lost in the mountains, and I'd have to try and find my way back. When I did, there were Yetis there, and I couldn't get in. I couldn't fight a Yeti by myself, but there was a den of them. There were so many. This came and went several times, and eventually on one passing I saw that they were all dead. There were none survived. It was a bloodbath. I dragged their bodies and left them in the hopes that perhaps we could try and save them one day. As much as I hate these creatures, as much harm as they've done to people and passers-by, these are their lands after all, and in some way I consider myself the trespasser. They're only trying to find their way through life just like me. But I think that's...
You
that's
don't
all.
believe that?
No, I don't.
Alright. I'm gonna, if you'll excuse me for a second. And Cal's gonna get up and go look if he can find Z.
Mm-hmm. You head out. You begin to look for Z. Takes you maybe about 5 minutes, and you see her just discussing and talking with one of the guardsmen here. Hey, what's up?
Quick question.
We're not going
Do
back
you
yet.
know if anything... No, don't worry. I never want to go back there. But just... You should maybe add something to your warnings you give to travelers, because there's something in those mountains that can kill a horde of Yetis and skin them alive, and then pin them up in a really, really grotesque way and tear out their eyes. And I feel like a monster like that should not be unaddressed. Or like, if it was people, then you should probably like bind them and make them pay for that, because that's really messed up. And yeah, also, if anyone ever rebuilds that temple, there's a lot of corpses in there. Like, such a huge amount of corpses. And like, I did what I could, but I'm not exactly good at funeral rites. Like, I've done 1 or 2, but I'm not an expert. So, yes. Yeah, that was it.
Okay, I will be sure to tell everyone here and the other outpost about some skin carving beast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And like, they were hoarding the pelts. It was like, there was a vault at the end, right? And they had all those pelts in there. And it looked like they were collecting them or something. At first I thought it was the Nolts maybe, but they don't seem nearly smart enough or strong enough to do that to a Yeti. Not to mention 3 Yetis. And they also don't seem to be that full of hatred for the gods, and it seemed to be connected somehow. So that's beside the point. Just maybe warn people about that. Like, mention the Yetis, mention the Howlers, mention the people living in these mountains, and then mention the gigantic monsters that can skill Yetis alive. Yeah.
All right. Will do. That's a lot to process.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'll be sure to write that down and send a letter to everyone that's coming in and out.
Also, like, maybe hire someone to look into that or something. Like, hire some adventurers that are much more better at this than we are, and
Cal,
it's just a suggestion. You obviously.
You've seen the outfit that we have here. It's not like we have like the most. You've seen what the mountains are like. If I send anyone out there, they're probably
Yes.
gonna die.
Yeah.
So it's quite
Yeah.
difficult.
How much do you think you'd have to pay someone to go in there and do that?
Well, you guys did it for free, so I don't know why the fuck you did that. But
Yeah, that's a good point. But like, we would never go and look for that being that killed the Yetis. Like, we saw that cave and we were like, nope, because the bones told us to. And how much do you think you would have to pay someone to go and do that?
I think you'd need to like give him your house or something, surely.
I don't have a house.
Well, nor do I, so I can't hire anyone.
Right.
But I'll ask around. I'll see if there's anyone. But look, you're heading into the city. Maybe see if there's any adventurers that want to come up here. Try and recruit them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually, yeah.
Look, we can do with as much help as we can get, but trying to send someone up here to the Howling Mountains is like trying to tell someone to eat shit. They're not going to do it willingly, are they? So you've got to force them into it.
Yeah. That's a fair point.
Yeah. All right, well,
Just
thanks
warn
for...
warn people. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try. Thanks, Cal. Appreciate it. Am I ever going to see you again?
Okay. Not very likely. Well, maybe. We might have to go through these mountains again. Like, we're unlikely to forever stick to Bellavere.
Do you know when you'll be through these mountains again?
No. I have no idea what we're even supposed to do in Bellavere. Like, it was very mysterious. We might also die. So, we might never pass through these mountains again.
Fair enough. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, at least.
No, I didn't.
No? Okay. Well, nor did I. But this is my job. So, hopefully we never see each other again.
Yeah, let's settle on that.
Okay, cool. You guys heading out?
Yeah, probably. We'll probably grab some resources and then be on a merry way away from these mountains.
Not before
Very,
I find
very
some
well.
apples and feed the horses.
Right.
The horses.
Excellent point to find apples.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Can you answer me one question? Why do you
Yeah.
have a horse called Apple and a horse called Pineapple? That's going to get really confusing at some point.
Well, the thing is, Axon's not from around here, and he named the horses because he talked to them, and they were like, we don't have names. And one of the horses is really obsessed with apples, but he doesn't actually know what apples are. Like, I think Axon wanted to feed it a carrot, and the horse was like, oh my god, you brought me an apple. So Axon named them, and he's not great with names. He also, I think he's still convinced Mercedes is named Macy, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Understood. Never ask questions again. Got it. All right. Have a good journey, guys. So you guys gather some resources. Axon, you find some apples. However, you do remember that the horse seems to think that apples are something else.
Okay, so I need to find carrots as well.
Yes.
Okay, then I will search for carrots.
Okay, roll an investigation check.
Okay, oh yeah. Investigation.
No
11.
carrots. No carrots, unfortunately. Plenty of apples, just no carrots.
Not even one.
Unfortunately not. They don't grow here.
Oh, shame. Well, still, I will feed them apples. I remember they will be fond of apples as well.
Okay. You feed them apples. Apple, who you named after Apple, you see eats it with somewhat
I taste
I
it,
like
isn't
it. Not really an apple though, is it?
Well, it's the truest apple there is.
No.
I look
I
at
don't think so.
I look at pineapple. Can you convince him? Like, can you try to taste it? And
Do you think I can convince this dipshit of anything? No, I can't. I'm fucking stuck with that guy.
yeah, tough luck.
Hey man, that's not cool. My name's Apple, not dipshit.
Yeah. Yeah, apple. You can have more apples if you want.
Carrots.
Or carrots.
Tasty carrots. My favorite meat.
Good. Here you go, buddy. Enjoy.
Can I be an ant?
You can ask Pineapple. If he will allow you, then sure.
Pineapple's having none of it. He's shaking his head. You gather some supplies from this outpost, and is there anything else you guys do before you head out? Tuco's with you. He's kind of like ready, prepared. He's sitting in the caravan, ready to go. You have your new hill giant friend who is ready to walk alongside the caravan because it doesn't fit.
Tuco's a historian, right? Or librarian? Or
He's a historian of people.
Historian of people. Right. I'm gonna ask him if he's made like an entry about what happened. Like we found an abandoned temple, and that's related to people.
You see, he kind of like nods his head.
Yeah, I've written some information down of what's happened, but it's not really my thing. I will be sending it to my friend when we arrive at Bellevue, and he will be able to comprise it into a very nice novel. He's a very good writer.
Right.
And do
He's
you
of a
know
very
any-
noble house.
If the fate of religious people is not your thing, then what kind of people are your thing?
Well, individuals of history, not the big picture. If priests die, yeah, it is what it is. But if there is one big priest that does a lot of things, that's interesting.
Right. It's a bit mean.
No. Specific. I specialize. If I did everything, I'd have no room for what I'd like to do.
You only write about important people.
Well, I think you're important.
Oh, that's kind of charming. I mean, you're gonna write about us.
Yeah, if you allow me to.
Helen would kind of like at this. She'd kind of turn around and goes, "What are you gonna write about us? Where is this novel going?"
Well, I have detailed descriptions written of each one of you. Listed here.
let me see.
And you see he kind of flips over the paper, and you see he's like flipping through each one, and it's like very direct, blue eyes, grey skin, all of these very detailed things. Just very kind of just giving the very 1-2s. Afterwards, he kind of flips over the page.
I also wrote a bit about what I perceive of you, what I think of you as people, and what actions you force. For example, look at Cal. Cal is a very talkative person. Don't mind this bit that says talks a load of rubbish. This is just ulterior text that I've written down. Underneath it says he perceives it to be very useful information. This is the important part.
Useful information.
Well, I don't think I've heard everyone talking about how you know how to make a noose. This is not good information to know. This is
But it was useful in the moment, and it has been useful in other moments, and it will continue to be useful.
in other moments of killing.
Of legal?
Murder?
punishment for criminals.
Judicial
That I wasn't
purpose.
completely aware would be happening.
You don't use this in your personal time.
No, what would I use it for in my personal time?
Well, to kill people that you don't like, of course.
It would be much simpler with that. Why would I need a noose for that?
Well, if
I
you have
have
a
a
tree,
fully
you have a
functioning
branch,
bow.
you make the noose, you throw it over the branch, you put someone's head inside, and you pull. That is all you have to do. And this is quite a
Yeah,
barbaric
but
technique.
I
Can
could
I
just
correct
shoot
you?
them.
Can I correct
Of
you,
course.
Tuko? Yeah, it's not the head. You just put the neck and then tied it
Oh.
up on the neck.
I see my mistake. This is more. Okay. I'll write it down.
Anyway, yes, you've proven the point. If I wanted to kill someone, I could. See, useful knowledge.
Helen kind of just look at him and go, "Why do you know so much about nooses?" And just kind of like cock her head to the side.
Wait, Cal or the frog?
The frog.
Well, sometimes I have spoken to executioners over my time, and there are some very interesting ones. But Cal is not an executioner, so to know this information seems very cruel.
No. I worked with one. Oh, you went there for the part. I worked a part-time. I worked a part-time job.
Oh. Did you enjoy it?
It was no, I hated it.
Okay.
It was 3 weeks of me. I was mostly in the back. Like I mostly did the news tying part, and I didn't fully know what they were for. Like at some point, they then wanted me to start helping with the cleanup process, and that was where I drew the line.
Okay.
Gets a bit hard to ignore when you're carrying corpses. That's, you know.
No, I don't
Anyway,
know.
it's not rubbish. It's important information that's valuable in different life situations.
That's exactly right. And this is why, in my line of work, what you say is mainly rubbish. So I leave it like that. Does this hurt your feelings, Cal?
Right. Yes, but what else did you write? Is that all you wrote about me?
No, I also wrote that you have a very interesting ring on your finger that seems to be magically enchanted by some sort of beast or creature of otherworldly design. I've also written here that you seem to be from a noble family of sorts, because you have the etiquette of someone who is more. There is a secret there that I can see. Do you wish me to share more
That's not a
information?
secret. Honestly, this is just getting interesting. Yes, please.
Okay.
I mean, none of this is really a secret, so please go on. This is curious. This is interesting. He is very watchful. You guys should be careful. Like, if you have secrets that you don't want out, don't spend time with this guy. He will know.
No.
Oh, don't worry, my secrets are well protected.
Well,
What
I
do you
have no
know about
secrets
him?
worth protecting.
Helen would be
Beside
like
him?
kind of over him, trying to see what he's written down about everyone.
Sure. You can roll a perception check if you want. $15. Okay. Is there anyone in particular that you're looking for?
She's curious about Ulrin, and she's also looking for what he wrote about her.
Okay. You can see writes for Ulrin, astute observer, keen eye for Moradin artifacts. Oh, is a Moradin priest. You see these are all like handwritings that he's just kind of like written in over top. He also writes down an interesting individual who seems to have a burden on their shoulders of faith. Someone who believes that the faith that they carry is valuable, but is that truly of worth? He just kind of questions the religion aspect of Ulrin's faith. He also notes down that a brave soul, yet perhaps too brave in instances. Defiant, helpful, kind, aspects of a leader in the making. And for Helen, as you kind of stare into that, you see the first thing he writes down is Faye. That's like the first thing he writes down. That's what he noticed straight away. He also writes down quirky and mischievous, a quick hand, a deft foot, definitely one to be wary of. A fighter? Question mark. A killer? Question mark. Both? Question mark.
Jesus.
Many answers need to be found, but one thing is for certain: very studious. She knows what she's doing, although slightly aloof, and he doesn't really expel on that any further.
She'd lean back. She's satisfied with that description.
Am I the only one that gets rubbish? I mean, no, that's completely fair, but like, come on. Rubbish.
So, as you're...
I like that we just have this guy around who's written down all of our secrets, and Max is just sitting on that.
He's just an observer. He's just there, isn't he? He's just listening, watching, writing it all down. So, as you begin to set on your journey onwards, you follow the Gonthrone Road straight down and hopefully find your way to Bellevere sooner than later. The trek itself will take maybe a few days, maybe 5 days, depending on the terrain and how costly the weather becomes. But for today, we'll roll a d20 to see what it's like, and then we'll end the session there. So I'll ask for... Who did it last time? Was it Marie? Did you do it last time?
Well, I wasn't here last time, so I don't know.
Okay, we'll do...
We didn't roll one last time.
We'll do Arne this time, because you've had so much good luck, Arne.
Oh boy. I mean, I am still old 20,
Redemption
so...
roll. Redemption roll.
Is
No, it's a natural one.
Come on.
Watch it.
But that
It'll be good.
stop. Okay,
That's
that's decent.
decent.
That's not bad.
decent, it's decent.
Good job.
You begin your travels onwards, and the skies are clear. A bit of cloud here and there, but warm enough, and no real issue, it seems, on the journey ahead. But we'll pick up there next time. So we'll end the session there, just on time, as we have predicted for our schedule. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. Thank you for joining us for episode 5. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, everything else, you know, the good stuff. And hopefully we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.